Following now the decisive visitation of Namibia Economic Freedom Fighters, leadership led by the Commander-in-Chief CIC Epaphras Jan Mupilongo, we are happy to report that we have managed to ensure that we are one step ahead to liberate the masses of our people. Today, Thursday, April 7, 8 Chinese nationals have been arrested by the immigration officers with the aid of the Namibian Police. This is following our persistent and continuous sharing of relevant documentation and maintaining our posture that the Cheetah Cement Plant has been housing immigrants that entered our borders under false pretenses. We are informed that there are over 60 Chinese in that plant, and we must have more sting operations to clean up and ensure that the Chinese respect our laws and governance. We send a strong warning to our embassy in the Republic of China to do due diligence on these so-called invitation letters of technical assistance at the plant. These are merely people that become domestic workers in Namibia. Our immigration officials ought to follow up on the duration of these visitations. It cannot be correct to have Chinese here from 2018 on a so-called technical meeting that they are attending. What type of a meeting is that? We must take our country very seriously and protect it against any form of economic or human exploitation. The Namibia Economic Freedom Fighters will remain a strong defender of the revolution. Our revolution is to protect our national resources, both economically and humanly. Our call is for the total protection of the working class and the poor in our country. Cheetah Cement, under the leadership of the Chinese, enjoying the protection of political elites and the white supremacists, will continue to suppress the masses of our people should we not act with vigor and conviction. Namibia Economic Freedom Fighter is set against the backdrop of contemporary Namibia, which is trapped in a cycle of massive economic and social inequalities, higher level of unemployment, poverty, and importantly, underemployment of a large section of the economic active population, which is our youth. Therefore, our visitation to Cheetah Cement is to deal with the inequalities. We will look at all possible avenues to ensure that there are better working conditions for the workers and a review with the employment contract. We wish to inform all Chinese nationals in our country in the name of being investors that we will ensure that the respect of the Namibian Constitution and her people remains the order of the day. Cheap labor and labor hire practices are a thing of the past. NEFF will continue to engage the relevant authorities in fast-tracking this process. I thank you very much. In case there is any question in regard to our press statement. Yes, Carol.
Can I just have the phone? Yes. Thank you so much. We do appreciate it was quite an urgent presser, but now that we are here, we do appreciate also the message that you've put across. We've been in touch with the management of Cheetah Cement, and they have alleged that they have suffered a racial attack from the NEFF. They are saying that there were racial slurs that were used against them. They deny that they have any of their way, and I just want to find out what is your reaction to that. And then as far as the opening of the charge of trespassing on your side, how do you interpret that? Do you think that's more like the drawing of the lines in the sense between you and the management? Do you think that's an insult towards you or an attempt to try to take this fight further?
And maybe?
Calvin, thank you very much for your question. To quickly address the racial slurs and all of that, we first need to look into the manner in which we're addressed. Number one, this manager, who just so happens to be white, totally arrogant. Now, he most probably think this is 1400 or 1600, where there were white supremacists, because his tone and his action speaks to a white supremacist. Unfortunately, this is a new Namibia. This is a dawn of a new Namibia, where we will not tolerate such white supremacist tendencies. The problem is that for far too long, we have thought that this country is independent, but unfortunately the negotiations that freed these countries did not free us economically. And as a result, we have these white supremacists who still think that they can run and do as they please in this country. We went to Cheetah Cement. We asked politely the guards who were at site to say that we'd like to speak to management. The guards opened the door for us. We did not forcefully enter that premises. So for them to then allege that we are illegally trespassing, if your security guard who's at home allows me to enter your house, how am I trespassing? Trespassing on what basis? So as for the racial remarks, I think this white boy must sit down, and he must stop being a crybaby. We are dealing with serious matters. We don't have time for crybabies. A black person can never be a racist. I've never racially discriminated against people telling them that they must move to Katutura, or racially discriminated in terms of economic class. So a black person can never be a racist, under no circumstances. Who are the people who said that certain people are allowed to go onto a bus, or certain people, that door is only for blacks, that door is only for whites? I never did that. Have I ever done that? Who have I ever subjected to say that you, based on your color, you cannot enter this school, you cannot get this type of education? So these white supremacists, they must stop with their crybaby tendencies, because we are dealing with real issues here. And as for him, we'll still deal with him, because we are now have established fact that he's nothing but a liar, and we'll ensure that that liar goes to prison, because he said it that there are no illegal Chinese immigrants there. So if there are no illegal Chinese immigrants, why then were 8 Chinese arrested today? And we have it on record, and we have it on good authority, that when the police went there that particular evening on Tuesday when we were at the visitation day, they only called 30 of the many Chinese that apparently most probably had documents or valid documents, and the rest were kept in the tents or the hostel that they currently have there at Cheetah Cement. If we go there to Cheetah Cement, we should not even call it Cheetah Cement. We should call it China Home or Chinatown, because the amount of Chinese that are there is worrisome. So they must stop being crybabies, especially this white boy. We'll still have to deal with him, but for now we do not want to deal with crybabies. We want to deal with real issues that are facing our people. As for him, we'll most probably entertain him one day, but not today.
I think it's any other question.
Maybe just one last question. Just to break the ice, the political stance that you have taken in terms of Namibia's labor problems is one that we have seen being taken by the Revolutionary Union of the Affirmative Repositioning, and understanding that Komiza Amshelelo and Debliken Nauyoma, you do have a relationship with the Affirmative Repositioning and the RIU. There are some that are saying that you are replicating, saying this pattern that you have started of confronting companies that do have allegations of malpractices as far as labor is concerned.
Thanks, Kevin. Be it the ideology of EFF Namibia is that we want to free the working class and the poor. And how? Seeing the situation on the ground with our workers, it's a life that is deteriorating. And we need to engage as a political party, because what do we represent? We represent them. Seeing that the labor union fails to speak straight to the lives of the workers, we are also representatives of the workers that speaks more the values and the beings of our people. We will continue, as that is the core principles of forming this political party called Namibia Economic Freedom Fighters. We want to make sure that we liberate our people economically. How economically? To make sure that the work done in a proper and a fair manner. The ends from the work done should be fair and decent living. So in actual fact, we are saying we will 100% rally behind the ideology of forming Namibia Economic Freedom Fighters.
Kelvin, just to address your matter in terms of whether we're going to continue this posture and whatnot. Well, number one, we need to come to an understanding that the whole system has been captured. From the Ministry of Labor to the Minister of Labor to the unions, the police, obviously certain individuals are captured there. The whole system is corrupt, as to say. Now, when a system is rotten, the only other manner that works is radicalism. And this is what we are about as a party. So we are going to radically go after companies that are going to continue violating our people's and basic human rights. And we make no apologies for our radicalism. And as for those who dare to defend the people who oppress our people, take note that you have also become our enemy. If you are an enemy of our people, then automatically you are an enemy of Namibia Economic Freedom Fighters. And by this, we simply mean, and we simply say that there are those individuals, black, white, Chinese, or whatever nationality they are. Take note that if you dare to defend those who are oppressing our people, we will fight you as well. Whatever form that we use, obviously we will see what is within the confines of the law, and where the law, obviously, the relevant authorities are failing us, then we'll see how to take matters into our own hands. Thank you.
But let me just say something on that one. I see you're a member of parliament, the two leaders that went to Cheetah, and then you were also with your colleagues. It's still the same question. Seeing that you are sworn in as a member of parliament to uphold the constitution, and if the language is radicalism within the law, maybe you just try to clarify that, because you, as a member of parliament, you are really the custodian of upholding the law, and you have that you have the parliament as an avenue to address some of these things.
Thanks very much for the question. It's very funny in actual fact to define the word radicalism. I mean, based on the principles and objectives of the party, we are a radical movement. Radical in terms that we do things, we ought to do things radically to make sure that the lives of the people is being changed. So, since independence, for the past 32 years, there were no really radical organization that would really stand in the road to make sure that it uplifted the people from the oppressed situation. It's nonetheless then that is needed in nowadays, because our people has been for the long time being oppressed. That's why you see situations happening in Cheetah Cement. How do you dare keeping people for 4 years without working permits? How do you then think that these people will be removed? It was because of the action that we took. And that action is radical. It can't be a soft move that we sit here or we sit in parliament, we tell, yeah, please go behind mines and see whether there are people. It has been a song of the day, and only radical people can actually move the situation to be the way it is today. It could not happen that this Chinese would be arrested today, only after the visit of NEFF. And how? And I will take you to the message from the head of state yesterday when he says, when diplomacy fails, people go to war. And we are actually trying even to not allow people to go to war, because these are our people that are being oppressed. These are our people that are denied their own right. Just imagine Chinese sweeping on the floor, whereas we have thousands of young people who are unemployed. And before going to war, as a radical movement that aspires to free the working class and the poor, we will use that mechanism of being radical to meet those management who have our people that are being oppressed, to make sure that we understand why, and being having our people living in the same condition from independence until now. I'm telling you, a party like Namibia Economic Freedom Fighters, it's a party that has Namibian peoples at heart.
Yes. Often people confuse radicalism for vandalism.
Yes.
There is a difference between the two. Radicalism simply means that if the old way is not opening doors,
yes,
then we try a new way. We have failed over the past 32 years. Our people still until today do not have land. Land still remains a key question in this country. Our resources still remain in the hands of a few. And why is that the case? It's because we've been trying this willing buyer, willing seller, willing everything. Sometimes if things are not willing, then let us try radicalism. We did it once and things have started to move. Now, if we sustain and continue to do so, how many more working class Namibians are we not going to free? And this is a stern warning to all the companies operating here in Namibia, that get your houses in order, because if you don't get your houses in order, we'll come and sort them out for you.
Is it perhaps any kind of working together with other movements who are also using the same approach?
We have absolutely no issue working with anyone who wants to free the working class. The goal here is for us to attain economic freedom in our lifetime. How we achieve it, what modes of apparatus we use, that doesn't matter. You see, parties and all the political movements, we should move away from this individualism. Because if you can work with the following party, and the following party, you can work towards the common good of the people. That is what matters the most. The problem is, for the past 32 years, parties have been working in silos because the party president wants to sustain that 1 seat or 2 seats because of the benefits that they receive in parliament. We are not scared to lose our parliamentary seats. What we want here is to ensure that we free the working class and the poor of this country. Whether now we lose these 2 parliamentary seats that we have because apparently we are too radical or whatsoever, we do not care, because ours is to free the people. That's all our concern.